President Biden historic executive order, U.S. to defend the rights and safety of LGBTQ plus individuals. Watch this.
My name is Javier Gomez. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm honored to be here with you all today. I'm an 18-year-old, proud, gay, Venezuelan American from Miami, Florida. I graduated high school last week, and next fall, I will attend the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. Yes. Oh my God, the vice president told me it was a big deal. Oh my God. For months, I've been proud to work side by side with fellow students and allies in the community to fight back against this legislation that seeks to make schools in my state a more dangerous and hostile place to be LGBTQ+. We have traveled endless hours to Tallahassee to advocate and testify against the Don't Say Gay bill. We organized school-wide walkouts and rallies. And we looked into the eyes of those pushing this cruel and dangerous legislation and said, it's okay to be gay. It is my greatest honor to introduce the 46th President of the United States of America, President Joe Biden.
Thank you for that introduction, Javier, and for your incredible leadership and at such a young age down in Florida. My message to all the young people, just be you. You are loved. You are heard. You are understood. You do belong. And I want you to know that as your president, all of us on this stage have your back. We have your back. Today, I'm about to sign an executive order that directs key federal agencies to protect our communities from those hateful attacks and advance equality for families. My order will use the full force of the federal government to prevent inhumane practices of conversion therapy. The executive order will also support mental health for children by addressing bullying and suicide and making our schools safer. Addressing the nation's mental health crisis is a key pillar of the unity agenda I announced in the State of the Union address. My executive order also will take on discrimination that children and parents face in foster care. Also support older adults so they can age with dignity.
Yesterday, at the midway point of Pride Month, President Joe Biden signed a sweeping executive order intended to push back against recent state laws meant to block LGBTQ+ rights. After being introduced by Queer News Tonight anchor Javier Gomez, President Biden spoke out against the attacks on the community, especially transgender youth, saying, quote, "My message to all the young people, just be you. You are loved. You are heard. You are understood. You do belong. All of us on this stage have your back," end quote. The executive order instructs the Department of Health and Human Services to provide guidance on how to provide comprehensive health care for LGBTQ+ patients. It also orders the Education Department to release a sample school policy that is inclusive of LGBTQ+ students. The order also puts pressure on the federal government to crack down on conversion therapy. Night and day. This is, Biden has our back. There's no question. He really does have our back.
I hope it materializes. Well, I think this is great for us in Florida because we've been facing a lot of state laws that don't say gay, and we can just go on every day. There seems to be a new place in Florida, someone else, suggesting discrimination as laws. But I hope it materializes. Will this prevent? I did some research, but I couldn't come to the determination if this will prevent state laws from being enacted like that.
Well, then I'm not sure.
Yeah,
no, sorry.
There's a lot that's unclear about it, but I'm more than ecstatic to see where it's going to go.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because each individual state does have their own laws and they have their own essentially mini government. And I'd like to see how it's going to overrule all of those things. And I'm so glad that he's mentioning mental health as well. With all of this going on, we have hundreds of thousands of queer kids around the country who are being attacked by these legislatures, and it's dangerous and harmful. And the fact that he is making a point to mention mental health awareness as one of these things, I'm so happy.
But when you hear him say this stuff, do you ever worry that, it's
Just
that his
words.
term? That his term is half up, and that there may be a different person in charge.
I do.
And do you ever worry that what's going to happen then when the next person comes in?
I think this is adding, wood to the fire that is the Trumpism and, the conservatives and, what's leading all these new laws. So if he doesn't win the next term, this will be a reason for them to come even harder. Maybe with even a federal enactment of something anti-LGBTQ. Do this, but, against us.
Yeah.
What do you
So
think
I
about
do worry about all that, the consequences.
I say everybody head to the polls, vote, 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 vote,
Oh,
vote.
yes.
Vote Democrat all the way across the board.
Yes.
I don't care if you don't know who it is. It says D on the label. Say, I'll take that.
I feel like it comes at a much needed time too, especially with all the laws happening at state level. It's a good thing that someone is coming through for us,
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, no, having that representation in our government is so important.
especially when it comes to like mental illness too, because I feel like in the past 2 years, everyone has suffered some kind of a meltdown or something or a mental illness issue.
Yeah.
So
Right, coming out of COVID, and then also all of these shootings that are somehow related to mental illness.
then on top of that, being LGBTQ and a teenager and everything like that added up. So.
Yeah.
It
I went to
all-
high school in Guatemala. I couldn't be there weren't many people out during my high school, and I don't think that it would have been easy for me to be out. I wasn't out, but now I look at 20 years later, seeing a place like Florida in the first world enact a law like "Don't Say Gay." I'm like, wow, how has that affected the kids mentally? Because you're not just feeling it because it's the culture like I did. They're telling you can't even say you're gay.
Oh, yeah.
So that is really screwed up.
It's also
No,
kind of
it's-
funny, like what I thought of when this came up as a teenager. When they tell you not to say something, it's what you want to say. So it almost brings up more attention to the word.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To revolt.
Like, don't say
Sure.
what, gay?
Yeah.
Don't say
In
what,
a way,
gay?
they made everyone gayer.
If anything, I'd hope that. But as I'm still in school and it's now the summer,
Yeah.
we don't. With this now and the older legislature, I don't know where it's going to go and where it's going to bring us. But I can't tell if I'm nervous for it to potentially continue on, or maybe excited about the new laws being put in place. I'm not even sure, but I do know that I am so proud of Javi for doing what he did.
Right.
And
It's
I'm
great to see him.
yeah, it brings hope to this generation that I'm so honored to call myself a part of Gen Z, who is making these huge movements like this. So Javi, you're doing good.
Absolutely, especially coming from Florida. I feel like we always get like the embarrassing news. So having
Florida
someone like
man.
that to come out and
Representing.
represent it in a good, positive way, that's really good.
Right? Like a good Florida man, you know?
Exactly.
That's the
We have
first.
some good
That's the
ones.
Florida man we
Young.
deserve.
Exactly.
It's almost an oxymoron, a good
Yeah.
Florida man.
Yeah.
Right?
LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth